test myself and to work through all of mathematics, starting with basic arithmetic, all the way to um, all the way to advanced calculus. So as you if you basically watch these videos, I want to make them like every day, and I try to go about maybe 20 minutes each time going over these problems, just basically to do this as uh, a steady practice regimen for keeping my mind sharp. And I do feel it helps because of the fact that the idea of learning something usually takes, you know, practice, and then it takes, your mind needs to reflect on that. You get sleep, you eat, you go, and then you wake up the next day, you're a little bit better at it. So I'm hoping to try to capture that on video. So this is like, I started doing the Khan Academy in September. So it's already November right now. I'm still in the arithmetic. I'm about to go to the algebra soon. So hopefully we'll see some benefits from it. All right, so let me go ahead and start where I left off yesterday. If you remember yesterday, I was like having some trouble um, putting together some of the division symbols because I didn't have the right order properly. But I actually went over it and looked at it again. So before I go ahead and do that, I'm just going to review the multiplication. So we have 125 like this. So this is pretty much just like doing 25 like this. But so what I'm going to do is we're going to say 4 times 0, 4 times 10, 4 times 500, 4 times 2,000. And then we're going to have 80, because it's 8 in a position. 80 times 0, 80 times 10, 80 times 500, and 80 times 2,000. And then after we do that, we will have 100 times 0, 100, whoops, 100 times 10, 100 times 500, and 100 times 2,000. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're going to just take 0, and we're going to add, I apologize for sniffing, and here 4 times 500 is 2,000. You want to make sure that this is lined up properly, because sometimes I run into issues with that. So you know what? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put the 0 here, and we're going to put 4, 0 like that. And then we're going to say this is 0, 0, 0, 2. And then we're going to go down here. It says 4 times 2,000 is 8,000. So 0, 0, 0, 8. And then you have 80 is 0. 80 times 10 is 800. So 0, 0, 8. 80 times 500. If 10 times 500 is 5,000, then 80 times 500 is 40,000. So we need to move this back a little bit. So, okay, so we're gonna just put, I'll put it there. Let's see if I can put it there. So we have a 0, 0, 0, 0, 4. And then we have 80 times 2,000 here is also like 16,000. Wait, no. 80 times 80 times 40,000. Yeah, so it's 160,000. Wow. So let me go ahead and just going to erase this stuff here. Move it over. So 80, 80, 80. We'll start with 10. And then we'll start with, well, we start with 0, right? You start with 0. And then we start with 10. Then we start with 500. And then we end with 2,000. Like that. And that's how we get this. So this, now we have the nice, sort of clean, description of what these numbers are. Because I want to go for here, it's supposed to be 4 in fourth place. So that way we know that that's it. And then we know that here, this is going to be 2. And then we have a 1 here, and then 6. So we know we have to add it like that. You have 20,000 and then 160,000. Then we can finish up with 0, even though this is not really supposed to be this long, but 100 times 0 is 1,000, and they have 100 times 500. I think that's 5,000. $50,000. So we put that over there, and then we add the other 4 zeros. So this is the long way. So if that's so this would be it. This is pretty big. So you really I don't really want to do something like this again. But we have the 0 here. Here we have a 4. Here we have 8. And you have 10, 11. And then we carry 1. And we have 6, 7, 8, 9. And 7, 8. So we have 800. So let me just go ahead and do some checking. And I'm going to check with the calculator because of the fact that for time. $2,500 and 184. That's 46. There is 50,000. I think I actually was like basically, yeah, so 40. So anyway, I did it on the calculator because I'm running out of time. So you basically move it to the 2's place because we're 2 decimal places here. So you get 4618.4. Oh, it is live. I don't know why it says it's an error. So okay. That was actually a very long way, and you can easily make more mistakes that way. So to make things much easier for me, it's best to do something like this: 162 times 0.961. So one thing I know is that if this is less than 1, the number should be less than 1. So if we want to get an accurate number, 967. You want to get 3 decimal points, so 3 decimal places. Go 7 times 0, 0, 0, 0. And then we have decimal point here. And we have 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 6 is 42 plus 1, 43. And then we have 7 times 1. And then you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Okay. And then we have here, we do the 0. And we do 3 zeros there. And we have a 0 over here as well. Wait, I'm confusing myself. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then when we get here, 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And then you have 6 times 6 is 36 plus 1 is 37. And then you have 6 times 1 is 3, which is 18. 0, 4, 5, 8, 8, 9. Now we need you to add it up one more time. I'm going to clean this 5 up. That way. And then we have here where we do the 9, we do the 0 again, but 0 goes here, 0. So we say 0, 0, 0. You know, I want to see if there's an easier way of doing it. Okay. So that's probably where I should have basically done it. I should have started over here. So we're going to go ahead, start over there. And we do it this way. So we have 7 times 2 is 14. Yeah, 7 times 6 is 42, 43. And you have 7 times 1 is 1. I mean, 7 times 7. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 4 is 11. And then we have, you have 6 times 2 is 12. And you have 6 times 6 is 36. Carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. And then we do it again here. We get 9 times 2 is 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 6 is 54 plus 1, 55. Yep. So 9 times 1 is 5. 9 plus 1 plus 5 is 14. And we say 4, and we say 5, say 16, and then you have 10, 15, 16, and then 4, 5, and then you have 1. Now we could just move it over the decimal places. 2, 3. Yeah, and one reason why I like this number is because I remember that 1 times 162 is 162. So if you make a number that's less than 62, there's no way this is going to be less than 162. 162 times 0.0967, I mean 0.90767 is going to be less than that. So maybe this is a good answer. 1, 6, and then 564, 654. Yeah. These are really long. Don't really want to go ahead and do all these things right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just end this particular problem and go to the dividing. So we can look at the strategies for that.
Let's take 63 and divide by 35. So the first thing that we might say is, okay, well, 35 doesn't go into 6. It does go into 63. It goes into 63 one time. It's 2 times 35 is 70, so that's 2 8. So it goes one time. It goes one time. 1 times 35 is 35. And then if we were to subtract, we can move up here. We can take a 10 from the 60, so it becomes a 50. Give that 10 to 3, so it becomes a 13. 13 minus 5 is 8. 5 minus 3 is 2. So you could say, hey, 63 divided by 35. Right? So you could say 63 divided by 35 is equal to 1 remainder 28. 1 remainder 28. But this isn't so satisfying. Really, the real answer is going to be 1 point something something something. So what I want to do is keep dividing. I want to divide this thing completely and see what type of a decimal I actually get. And to do that, I essentially have to add a decimal here. Just keep bringing down decimal places to the right of the decimal. So 63 is the exact same thing as 63 equals 0. I could add as many zeros as I'm going to add here. So what we could do is we show that this decimal is right over there. And we can now bring down the zero from the textbook right over here. And bring down that zero. And now we ask ourselves, how many times is 35 get to 208? And as always, this is a bit of an art by 2 digit number to a 3 digit number. So it's definitely going to be, let's see, if I would say, so 40 goes to 280 7 times. 30 goes to 280 about, that goes about 9 times. So we between 7 and 9. So now let's try 8. Let's see what 35 times 8 is. 35 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 3 times 8 is 24 plus 4 is 28. So it actually works out perfectly. So 35 goes to 280 exactly 8 times. 8 times 5, go ahead and figure it out. 8 times 35 is exactly 280. And we don't have any remainder. So we don't have to bring down any more of the zeros. So now we know exactly 63 divided by ourselves. How many, and then just put 35 going to 280. And as always, this is a bit of an art when we're dividing a 2 digit number into a 3 digit number. So let's see, it's definitely going to be, let's see, if I were to say, so 40 goes into 280 7 times. 30 goes into 280 about, it goes about 9 times. It's going to be between 7 and 9. So let's try 8. So let's see what 35 times 8 is. 35 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 3 times 8 is 24 plus 4 is 28. So it actually works out perfectly. So 35 goes into 280 exactly 8 times. 8 times 5, I already figured it out. 8 times 35 is exactly 280, and we don't have any remainder now. So we don't have to bring down any more of these zeros. So now we know exactly that 63 divided by 35 is equal to exactly 1.8.
Okay, so basically I actually see that the steps that you go ahead and you do these things for is relatively straightforward. If you have 35 divided by 63, like we had before, it goes 35 goes into 63 at least one time. And then we put the decimals here. We go 1 times 35 is 35. And then you can start to do the algebraic, I mean not algebraic, the math and subtraction, add and subtraction. Then we say how many times the 35 goes into 280. You know, roughly, if we know 35 times 2, 35 plus 30 times 30, 35 plus 35 is 70. And then we know 77, 7 times 4 is 28. So we could say 35 goes into 35 2 times. Oh, wait, yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, so we have, so let's just say 35. Yeah, 35 would be 70. And yeah, 35 is, 140. So then we can basically, I can start to see that it's 8. You move this 8 here. And then you say, so it's 1.8. Without wasting any more time. What's wrong? Okay, now let's do it again. Oops. And we say 35 goes in here. This is the same thing before. 135 times 1 times 35 is 35. You can go ahead, you get to 21. We don't want to do this. 1. Okay, and then we go ahead and we say, put the decimal here, bring it down, and we say how many times is 335. So if you remember our 35 issue right here, right? These two 35s leads to 170. You know 7 times 3 is 31. So that would be 35. Wait, that's not actually a good thing to say. Well, yeah, it is, because 35 is 70. If we have 1, 2, 3, if we have 3 of those, that's going to lead us to 210. So that means that 35 goes into 210 6 times. So it's basically 1.6. Then we have 16 divided by 20. And this is like saying 20 goes into 16. So 20 goes into 16 0 times. And you would want to bring the 0 down here. And then we want to say 20 goes into 260. So we would know how many times does that actually happen. Well, we know 20 plus 20 is 40, and then we know 40 times 4 is 160. So not 4. It's 4 times 2, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it'll be 8. So you have 8, and you have 8 times 20 is 160. So it'll be 8.8. Yeah. Now we have the same thing here, where we had 72 times 16, which is pretty much saying 16 divided by 72. And then we would have, I go back to saying 16 plus 16 is 32, right? I mean, no. I want to clean it up. It's basically, what I'm saying is that we could say 16 times 2 is 32. So since we know that, if we go ahead and we add, we get 64, and then we get 56. No, 6, 6. So that's basically that's the max we can do is 4. So we know 16 goes into 72 4 times at least. Because the next time it goes into 42 is 4, 5, 6. Let me just make sure. I'm just. We have 24, and we have 4, 5, 6. That's 64. And if we did 5, we say 30. It's 5 times 1, and then you have plus 5, plus 3 is 8. It's 80. So 4. Yeah. So we go 16 goes in 4 times. 4 times 32 is 64. And then we do our subtraction where we take this one, we get 6 here, we add 1 here, we get 12. We say that'll be 8. And then we say how many times does 16 go into 8? It goes in there 0 times. So this is where we go bring our 0 down. And this is where the 5 comes into play. Then we have 5 times 16 is 80. And that's 0, so it'll be 4.5. And that's pretty much like how I corrected myself yesterday. I was actually going too far, trying to find other patterns. But honestly, knowing what's going on right now, when it says 16 divided by 20, sometimes the denominator is what gets divided first. And these are relatively simple. So they weren't trying to be too complicated. I'm gonna stop here, and in the next video, I'm gonna go ahead and try to perhaps maybe I will make another video. Because I actually want to start. I'm gonna attempt to do the decimal quiz. So that'll be the next thing I'll do. All right. And end this video.